Hi, I'm Phil Degnan. I'm course manager for mathematics at Stewart Park campus. So I'm basically responsible for delivering the programmes of functional skills, GCSE, for our students in all levels who didn't acquire the grade 4 at their previous place of learning. So I'm currently involved with a Teaching for Mastery programme. It's actually run by the National Centre for Excellence in Teaching Mathematics. And it actually aligned up with Askham Bryan's own quality teaching framework. In particular, it's metacognition activity on the tryout sheets. And it's about concrete examples, trying to progress students to move from the visual to the more abstract, which is quite key in maths, as you can imagine. Yep, so basically, I wanted to deepen students' understanding of core maths concepts in order to also empower them to apply that in the future, rather than just at a surface level. What we've found is they have this sort of rote type of learning, just applying formulas, but when it comes to a slightly different context in the real world, they're unable to apply it. So yes, it's really to hopefully deepen and secure students' understanding so they can go into the real world and actually use the maths properly. Okay, so in terms of implementation, it's really about sequencing of the lesson very carefully to move them from these concrete models to the abstract. The activity is just designed to obviously elicit that information, getting them to tell me what they already know. And in order to do that, it was necessary to use a lot of questioning throughout that would get them to reason why, to engage them. Examples of questioning would be, how do you know? For example, I delivered a lesson on polygons, symmetries, that was the outcome to deal with. And how do you know it's a line of symmetry? Why isn't this a line of symmetry? There's a technique called variation, again from the Teaching for Mastery programme, and that basically covers these kind of questions. It gets them to actually say why isn't it, using a selection of examples and what they call non-examples. In addition to that, it was using actual physical practical resources. I had them folding literally some polygons, some paper shapes, to actually see what lines of symmetry they could create, real hands-on. And that again was absolutely valuable, I think, in delivering this and getting them to actually appreciate what's going on. So in terms of impact, most students were able to move from the pictures, the concrete examples, to the abstract, what we wanted. The majority of students were also able to actually come up with their own conclusions and definitions. For example, what is a line of symmetry, without me having to over-explain or just talk them through from a PowerPoint. So yeah, really successful. And in terms of the observation from the quality team, yes, most students were able to show confidence in their explanations of why, which was the key element. So again, the next part of this Teaching for Mastery programme is there's a final residential actually happening next week, and it's actually about now collaborative planning. It doesn't just have to be maths, we can apply this to a range of subjects, both within the land-based industry or beyond. And in the second year, starting September, as a mastery specialist, I will obviously also deliver on some CPD, putting these strategies into place, basically sharing good practice and hopefully encouraging other like-minded teachers to have a go at implementing this in the classroom. So yes, it's lots to get involved with in the future and hopefully, yeah, improve maths outcomes as a whole.